Howdy, 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 y'all. Teresa here and
Worn out Brad.
Worn Out Brad.
This working for a living really sucks.
Yeah, he just got home a little bit ago. But we thought we were tagged a few days ago by Angie on YouTube. Her and Jay made up this fight tag called the Fight Tag. And so we're going to sit down and do it while I work on another hooded cowl. So we will start now. There's only 5 questions, and I'm going to put the questions down below in the description. So if you'd like to do it, please do it. Okay. Have you ever been in a bar fight?
Not really.
No. Yes or no?
No.
No?
No.
No. I have never been in a bar fight.
Yeah.
Nope. I've never even witnessed one. Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
I had a friend save my ass.
Oh, really? Oh, do tell.
I was...
So you were in a bar fight?
No, I wasn't.
Almost in a bar fight. Okay.
I was underage. I was 17, and there was a band playing at the bar that I really, really wanted to see. And so I went in. I wasn't drinking or anything. I went in. I was sitting at a table, and I had my cowboy hat on. And there's a group of like 5 guys sitting right behind me, and one guy knocks my hat off. And so I pick it up, put it back on my head, and he does it again. And he said to me something like, "Don't put that hat back on, boy." And so I stood up, and all 5 of them stood up.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And, I know I'm toast. And these guys are starting to flex and everything, and these guys start moving toward me. Well, then a friend of mine that he stepped up, and he stepped in between us. And here's Brad at 6 foot tall, 280 pounds. And here's Frank at about 5'7", 140 pounds.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And Frank said, and Frank's about 10 years older than me. And Frank said, "Just leave the boy alone, okay? Doesn't want any trouble." And this one guy reached out and put his finger on Frank's chest and pushed him back a little bit. And Frank was in Vietnam, and I don't want to say what he did, but I wouldn't want to piss him off. And Frank's told the guy in a real low voice, "Don't ever do that again." And the guy did it. And within about 15 seconds, all 5 of them were laying flat on the ground.
Holy moly.
Frank was like a 3rd or 4th degree black belt. And I don't remember what he was a black belt in. And he was working out for a competition. And he pretty much cleaned up the floor with these guys. And I just standing there with my mouth open watching bodies dropping all around me like flies.
Was it kind of like a Bruce Lee movie?
Yeah,
thing?
it really was.
Really?
And,
wow.
I've always been ever grateful for probably keeping me alive. Okay.
Okay, have you ever punched someone? If yes, where on their body did you punch?
How about you? You first.
Only in self-defense. I think it was their arm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think I punched some guy in his chest. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
So, what about you?
I punched a kid in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 2 8th graders picking on a 7th grader, and they were chasing me home, and I had enough, and I stopped and planted my feet and turned around, and I punched the first kid right in the face, and he went flying past me and bounced on his back. I think I got 3 or 4 skips out of him as he went on past me, and the second kid did a slide right underneath me and took off, and after that, I've never had to punch anybody again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, have you ever been punched? If yes, where have you been punched? Yes, I have been, and all over.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say, yeah, I've had some abuse in my past. Not with my current husband, but yes, I have. What about you?
I've been punched a few times. all over, and nothing that put me down or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't like to fight, but if I do get in a fight, my preferred method of fighting is to grab a hold of the person and then spike them on the ground, or
like a football,
or grab a hold of them and hold them close to my chest and then do a belly flop on the ground.
Holy moly!
Yeah, because
that would hurt.
Yeah, when I land on top of them, that usually takes the wind out of their sails.
Oh yeah. Okay, let me see this. Tell a story about a fight you've been in. I don't really have any. I mean, not that I really want to talk about. Like I said, any fights I've been in was an abuse situation that I try not to talk about personally because it kind of triggers me. So, what about you?
The last fight I was in was
security, probably, right?
When I was working at the event center.
Yeah.
And I got in quite a few fights there. But the last one that I was in, there was a rapper who shall remain nameless.
Mm-hmm.
And he was basically F the police, F security, and he went off stage until somebody brought him a joint, and he refused to go back on stage. And after
But he really got the crowd hyped up, didn't he?
And right after the show, a big, huge fight broke out on the floor. And there was about 4 or 5 police officers. They were just standing on the sidelines watching. And one of my coworkers was right in the middle. He was one of the first ones on scene. And this guy is such a wonderful guy. But unfortunately, he's about 5'6", 5'7", and about 120 pounds. And these guys, there's 2 guys wailing on each other. And so I went running across the arena floor, and I jumped, and I was taking a head dive, and I caught the big guy with my shoulder right in the middle of his back. And he went down, and I landed on top of him. First thing he did was put his hands up in the air. And this guy was, he was about 6'5", 6'6", and probably over 400 pounds. And, he gave up right away. And I was walking him over toward the police, and I see this other guy come running right at him with his fist cocked back. And he was throwing a punch at this guy, and I had this guy's hands behind his back. So there's no way he could have defended himself.
Wow.
And he threw the punch, and I stuck my left arm up, and I deflected the punch with my left arm. Unfortunately, the force of the punch, I kind of slapped the guy I was holding in the head, but it didn't do near as much damage as the punch would have landed.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that threw the punch was thrown off balance, and he went down, and then the cops took him out too. And it was kind of funny because, a couple weeks later in the liquor store, I had these 2 guys come up, and they said, "Do you work at the event center?" I said, "Yeah, part-time security." And the one guy started dropping his head and was heading away. And the one guy that dropped his head and headed away was the big guy I tackled.
Oh, yeah.
So, and he apologized, and he was super nice about it. And the reason he was in the middle of the fight was because the guy that threw the punch at him was down there throwing racial slurs, and and if I would have known that at the time, I probably would have let him go and let him beat the crap out of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then did I tell you about when I got in between the 2 football players?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you haven't told them.
Okay.
So he'll do 2 stories because I don't have any I'm going to share.
And
ooh, acorn dropping.
And the other fight, it wasn't really a fight, but the Casper, the Wyoming football team, was playing a California team for to see who got to go to the AIFL Super Bowl. And
this was an indoor football league.
And this is an indoor football league. And the Casper fans were just being jerks. I mean, Casper blew away this California team. I mean, it was like 65-21 or something like that. And the Casper fans were just being really rude and obnoxious. So they pulled me from where I normally work, and they had me guarding these football players. And we were finally able to get the football players off the field and back to their locker room. And there was a couple few Casper fans that I asked them to leave because they were very unsportsmanlike conduct. And then on the radio, I hear code red to the back hall. And whenever we hear code red, every security person goes directly there. I'm closest. I'm the first one on scene. And there's a Casper player and one of these California players about ready to square off. Like I said, I'm 6 foot tall, 280 pounds. The Casper player, 6'4", 325 pounds. The other player was 6'8", 345 pounds. I am not used to being
Big
the little
boys.
guy.
Yeah.
Big dudes. And these guys are just getting ready to duke it out. So I throw myself in between them. And I got my back up against the Casper player. And I got my hand on the chest of this other player. And these guys are yelling over the top. I mean, F this and F that and N this and N that. And, I'm thinking, okay, I just got to hold out for a few seconds because we've got almost 50 security people and they should be right here. Well, the one guy I was telling you about earlier, he was the first one there and he was standing right next to me. And, and I mean, he's just going to be a Scooby snack for these guys.
Yeah.
He's just
a shadow.
He's all heart. But he just doesn't have, and he's a good fighter, but he just doesn't have the strength to back it up when you're, And both these guys are half my age, and they're in much better shape than I am. So I know if a fight breaks out that I am going to be toast. Finally, we get them calmed down. There wasn't a punch thrown. We get them calmed down, get them to their respective locker rooms. Some of their own teammates comes out, and, and they apologize and shake hands, and it was a cool moment. And this back hallway is probably close to 80 yards long. And we're at one end of it by the locker rooms. And I look around and I see our entire security staff at the far end of the hall. So they're a good 50 yards away. And they're supposed to be right there backing me up. And they just, they're just letting me and Sean take the brunt of it. I figure they thought they'd get the mop buckets and clean us up if a fight broke out.
Wow.
So, but that was cool because we got it broken up and, without a punch being thrown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's it. Oh, wait. There's one more. Do you fight fair? I'm in agreement with what a lot of other people have said, that I don't think if you are defending yourself, that you do. So no, I don't. I'm going to go for the jugular. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get myself out of that situation of being hurt. What about you?
Same thing, I mean,
we're not in a boxing ring. Let's all be realistic.
Uh-huh.
If you're in a boxing ring or something, then that's different. But, if you're defending yourself, then...
Yeah. And that's, and I haven't been in a lot of fights, but I'm gonna do whatever it takes to end it as fast as possible, whether it's deemed fair or not.
I wanna hurt you enough to get you incapacitated enough that I can get out of there.
Yeah.
That I can escape.
Yeah. So
anyway, that's all 5 questions. So if you're watching this, consider yourself tagged.
Yeah.
And please, you can either answer the questions below in the comment or make your own YouTube video and then let me know that you have. So, anything else you have to say?
No, ma'am.
I'm sitting here working on this.
That's very cool.
While half of the cowl is done.
Yeah.
So anyway,
cool.
That's all we got to say. You guys haven't seen Bradley in a while. Bradley and Angel. Right there.
No, it's Bradley Angel.
Oh, yeah, you wish. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Quit giving them ucky faces.
It's the only face I have.
Don't make me hit you.
Oh, baby. Promise me a good time.
We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.